share something so difficult as you have done today is progress. So we must see the progress as well. And I think you mentioned that as well, Rhoda. Keep going. You can't stop. There's so many women and girls behind you, with you, and together with you. So I want you to stay encouraged on that. In terms of the responsibility of private sector, it's definitely a responsibility. I think we heard the minister mention, Dr. Kwajima mentioned, I think from January onwards there's going to be an audit of different sectors in the country to see how many women are actually present in leadership positions, or what are the ratios, the gender ratios within organizations. I am so happy to hear that. I welcome that with open arms, because we should be held accountable for creating more balance. I can speak on behalf of Empower. Our ratio on our leadership team was 60% female, and in the total company, 70% female, actually. So it's intentional. It doesn't happen by accident. This is what I want to say. It has to be intentional. And some people, to be very honest with you, we actually get backlash, you'd be surprised, from people coming to us and saying, why do you only hire women? Why do you have so many women? And my answer is always, why do you never ask us the question the other way around? Why do you not wonder why there's no women at the table in other situations? So we have to be brave and bold enough to make those right choices. This is what I mean by social enterprise. You have to be values driven. You have to see the problem and address it with action. Now, that doesn't mean we are against boys or men, or that we are in competition. It means we are trying to level the playing field. We are trying to create balance because of the damage that has been done before and the imbalance that has been there for so many years. So private sector should be held accountable for audits like that, to be able to say, how many women do you actually hire in leadership positions in particular? Because we've seen the data, we've heard the statistics. When more women are involved in decision making, we see transformation happen, positive transformation, when we have balance. So diversity and inclusion is about having a balance, not saying one is better than another. So for me, that audit is very good news. Above and beyond just who you hire in your organization, I think private sector really need to be keen on investing financially as well, putting their money where their mouth is and saying, sure, we're for profit, but we also inject some of that profit back into solving and driving forward these social issues. So social behavioral change takes time, but it also takes money. I know all the great efforts of Plan International, USAID and the like all comes from funding that has to come from somewhere. Why can't the private sector also be involved? And I think I will just shine a light to say I think the private sector do not do enough in Tanzania in terms of the financial contribution. I think the ratio is off, and I'm part of that. I'm within the private sector as well. So at Empower, we really advocate for that amongst our community. We're trying to bridge that gap between the needs of the private sector, but also the needs of our people and our communities. So through our program, Generation Empower, we also encourage private sector partners to be involved, to contribute whatever they can, for us to help to empower young people to be job ready. So we're also walking the talk in that aspect as well. But it's an open invitation. Any partners that would like to join us, we're really trying to encourage that. And of our multinational organizations, what are you doing for young women and girls? What are you doing for young people in the country? And what are your commitments? I would really welcome that as a solution.
Thank you so much. Yes, a round of applause, please. A bigger one. Yeah. Sure, I think at the end we'll have to, I don't know, we have Tanzania Private Sector Foundation and the other private sector coordinating or umbrella institutions. We need to have them at some point somewhere in these kind of forums as well, because in the community. And you cannot just say, I got this profit, so I decided to take this amount of dollars into the community, and you just end up giving it to people who are actually not in need, you know, and no accountability on those kind of things. Maybe we might need to have a deeper conversation around that as well. Thank you so much. Yes, coming back to Chaz. You're working for Plan International at the regional level, and you've been working on advocacy, so working closely with governments and the regional bodies. Are we doing enough to support and to invest in girls' activism? What can be done by the government into ensuring we realize some of these kind of things as well? Karibu.
Thank you for the question. And I just want to agree with the rest of the panel. Anna's story is really... It's those difficult things you really don't want to hear. We are living in a society where we expect girls to lead, to thrive, to have the power to decide on their future. And Anna in Form 3 is busy thinking of a business opportunity to survive. Just take time to think about that. A Form 3 student escaping the jaws of female genital mutilation, thinking of surviving, and at the same time thinking of raising her school fees. And Anna, be encouraged. Thank you for having the power of sharing your story in this panel. It's a difficult thing to do, but your words represent thousands of girls who are not in this room. So I'd like to mention 5 things briefly on what more needs to be done. I think you've been mentioning the state of the girls report that was recently launched by Plan done in 26 countries. And I think some of the things that we realized in that report was the purpose of removing barriers that make girls not thrive. And these barriers are cultural in nature, they're legal in nature, and I think there's need for us to do so. In a country like Tanzania, if I'm not wrong, I don't think if we have a specific law on FGM, against FGM, and I think that's a place where we need to start having this conversation. And when you go to some countries, they have an anti-FGM board, a board that is entirely responsible for working on FGM issues. So I think that goes back to the legal framework conversation in terms of having the necessary legal framework to tackle. I've always had this argument that we have laws, but laws are not implemented. I'm afraid I do not associate myself with such comments, because I believe once you have a legal framework, you have a legal basis to start a conversation. You'd rather have a law that is not being implemented than not have a law at all. So, and I can give you several examples. The year 2001, Kenya as a country had the Children's Act, 2001. 2022, that's 21 years later, the country had not even revised the Children's Act. And for those of you who are not born, maybe let me just confirm, in 2001, who was not born? We were all born into, oh my God. Okay, I am a young person. You weren't born. Ah, okay. Okay, then me, I was born in 2015, just for argument's sake. I'm a young person in my mind. Anyway, long story short, between 2000 and 2022, we've had Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I think during COVID we've seen a lot of cases of GBV rising because of COVID, people being lured into sexual abuse because of the situation. In the region, we have a lot of humanitarian crisis. We've had droughts, floods, and all those kind of things. As a result of that, cases of GBV are going up, cases of FGM are going up. So you start to realize that we need to be very versatile in terms of having the legal mechanisms present to protect girls. So I just wanted to mention that in terms of, as the first point, in terms of investing in girls and putting the necessary infrastructure. My second point is in investing in education. Plan International did a study in 2020 titled The Holistic Approach to Investing in Girls. And one thing we realized is if we invest in girls, according to the study, it breaks intergenerational poverty. So you've heard Anna mentioning in a statement that she wishes her parents were educated. Because I think if that happened, there are some choices that they could have made differently. So I think based on this study, we are seeing there's a lot of power in investing in education. And not just investing in education, but holistically, looking at the health. And that's why Anna kept mentioning, I need money to go and buy sanitary towels. I need money to go and buy this, her basic needs. So it's not just enough investing in education, but looking at the holistic nature of what a girl needs to thrive. So that's another thing that we may want to also consider in terms of holistic interventions. And I think that's why when Sharon spoke here, she kept reminding us that we are in a crisis, we need support in education and all that, but don't forget the climate. So I think those are some of the takeaways that we may need to have. Number 3, Plan has something we call YAPs. YAPs stand for Youth Advisory Panels. And these are basically structures where young people can engage. And that's why Anna is sitting in, Anna, you said you're the chair or the president of you're the chair of your youth group, or in your school. Okay, perfect. So we are giving these opportunities of leadership for girls to be able to speak. I want to reiterate this: Plan does not speak for girls. We create spaces for girls to speak for themselves, because we believe girls have their own voices that really need to be projected. And that's what we are continuously doing by them sitting here and engaging decision makers, engaging the private sector, engaging donors, engaging partners in such kind of spaces. So we've seen YAPs, or youth advisory panels, or youth leadership at local levels doing quite a lot in terms of even propelling their confidence. I also wanted to mention number 4, which is my second last issue, is in August this year, we've just released a study on child marriage. We realized so many organizations, so many partners are working towards eradicating child marriage. But despite all these efforts, the numbers are still going up. So we're asking ourselves why. So we just did like a desktop survey to look at published work to see what are people doing. And I think the disturbing fact is child marriage and also teenage pregnancy have taken a different angle. One case in point, an example, a slum in Nairobi called Maadhimisho, we found out that there were high cases of girls getting pregnant. So the first assumption we had is girls do not know about, SRHR rights, family, what do you call it? Family planning and all that. But when we went and we asked these girls, they know about use of condoms, they know about family planning, they know all these things. And they said, Plan is always here, they tell us this. World Vision is here, they tell us this. Then you're asking them, then why are you getting pregnant? And they told us, for us it's a fashion. We agree that in August, all of us will get pregnant. And even they start naming their children after, artists. Me, I'll call my child Chris Brown. Diamond, Dangote, all those names. Calligraph. So it's like a fashion for them. And they even have plans that after we get pregnant, We are all going to enroll ourselves in this institution that offers support to young girls. We'll get capital to start a business. So you will start a donut business. Me, I'll start this business. Then I think we can all come together, rent a house, and it's like they have the whole plan figured out. So they're not even thinking about STDs. They're not thinking about their education, because these are girls who are around 16, 17. So we were really shocked by such kind of findings. That means we really need to change tact in how we do our child marriage work as partners, as NGOs, and all that. So I think that study, as my fourth point, really gives us insight into this. And my final point is on FGM. Female genital mutilation, according to studies, it has been proven to have no health benefits. There's no health advantage of having FGM. And I think it's important that all partners on board be very vocal about this. Anna has mentioned the way she escaped FGM. And right now in areas like Mara, we are seeing people running to Kenya to do FGM, and people in Kenya coming to Mara. And we were quite shocked the other day to learn that we have Kenyans who are going to Germany to do FGM, or people in Germany coming to Kenya, and people going to Somali. So it has really taken a crazy angle, and I think we really need to speak to this because of what it does to a girl. And on that same breath, we really need to have a conversation with lawmakers on all these issues that we are talking about. Where is the place of the judiciary? Because I'm so humbled that we have somebody from the private sector, but we really need to have lawmakers sitting here and listening to Anna. And we are very lucky we had somebody at the caliber of a minister coming here to give confidence to us, but also to support us. So in short, I just wanted to mention that these are some of the issues that Plan is doing, being very vocal, especially 2 years ago when we wrote to Instagram and Facebook, where we did a study called Free to Be Online. The study was done in 22 countries, and we realized that girls as early as the age of 8 are being bullied online. When a girl posts a picture in Instagram, people start making fun. You're fat, you're slim, you have big eyes, and those things affect the morale of the girl. So, in a country like Kenya during COVID, a lot of people taking to social media to lure girls to rape. And the girls who are here in this room do not communicate to people you do not know online, because you do not know where it will go. So because of this study, we managed to write to Instagram to tell them, please put more security features in these social media platforms so that we can protect girls and young women. And they responded. They looked at the data we shared with them, and they are so excited to partner with NGOs and other organizations who are speaking on the rights of girls and young women in social media platforms. So to end my whole story, I'm just simply talking about partnership. Let's partner with girls. Let's partner with the private sector. Let's partner with the donors. Let's partner with the media. Let's partner with everybody who's ready to support the plight of girls and young women. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chaz. Yes. Thank you so much for outlining your points very clearly, and I hope we are also taking notes and get ready to contribute and maybe ask questions, because now I'll take the mic to the floor, but before I do that, get prepared, write your question, and get ready to shoot it. I asked you a question, a comment on, and I think Chaz has spoken about it. You are an activist, you're labeled, you're ashamed because, of what you do. People will say you'll not get married, you'll not be, all those kind of things. So 27% of these girls from this report will, mentioned something like that. And it's not everyone who has the audacity to actually stand and pass through that process. What needs to be done in the community? And of course the family members as well, because they'll start pointing fingers at you, and before you realize, you're done. 25% of these girls who are actually activists, and some of them interviewed, expressed being emotionally unwell as activists. So someone like Anna, someone like Sharon, when they speak, they feel a sense of fear and sort of emotional, psychological unwellness. And this is also a very big issue. And because if I see you struggling with your health and your emotions, I will not be joining your club. You know, what advice can you give to these girls who are actually the young activists? Because also a bigger chunk of them, 17%, expressed fearing their safety to speak and talk about the issues that concern them a lot. So what advice will you have? And then get prepared to ask or contribute into this matter.
Thank you, Oscar. Hear me, girls activists, the young one. This is not easy. Rhoda here said this journey is not easy. And this is the matter for community. The attitude that is, they are very negative, especially when it comes to a girl child to stand out. Because, the society thinks that she has come to outbest men, you know. And hivi vitu ambavyo tunavizungumza hapa kwa ushauri zaidi, wanasema kwenye jamii hakuna watu wao wanapenda kusherehekea mchakato. Watu wao wanasherehekea matokeo. Kwa sababu gani? Mchakato is really hard. So when you're in the process of making something and kukifanya kile kitu kifanikiwe, people don't understand. Ila results zikija, everyone will be applauding, right? Jamani hongera sana, umefanya vizuri. Kwa hiyo kwenye huu mchakato, sisi young girls tuendelee kushika hatamu mpaka kieleweke, kwa sababu hiyo ndio inaonesha ni namna gani jamii haielewi. Kwa hiyo quitting, it doesn't solve a problem, but pushing forward, you make them understand by results. So tuwe na ile target kwamba there is a day tutafika hapo ambapo tumefika. Mimi pia nilikuwa labeled, nilikuwa pia educator from primary to secondary. Niko labeled. You speak about bullying. Bullying, it has been an issue from our families. Mimi mwenyewe, some of my family members were telling me, hey, concentrate na shule, achana na hivi vitu vingine. That's why I was saying hata kwenye kumuengage mtoto kumpa elimu, tusibezi zaidi kwenye kumpa ile formal education. Kuna vitu kama hivi ambavyo vinamfanya siku kama hii leo. Mimi niko hapa kwa sababu ya elimu kama hizi. Oscar and I tumekuwa restless alumni. Tumekuwa capacitated na elimu hizi life skills education. Kama sio hizo, we can't stand out kwenye families, kwa sababu kule nyumbani wazazi wengine hawawezi kutukapacity sisi na hizi life skills education. Kwa hiyo tunavyozipata kwenye platforms kama hizi za Plan International, ndo zinatufanya sisi tuweze ku stand out hata nyumbani. Kwa hiyo ile emotional stability pia comes from social learning skills ambazo nimesema ni muhimu zaidi kuzacquire from home na huko shuleni, the way we engage na watu wengine. Alafu pia maisha hayafanani. Kwa hiyo hapa tuko young girls, some of us we are not coming from the same backgrounds, but we might look the same kwa sababu hapa tunaonekana maybe we are in uniforms and everything. Kila mtu hapa ana pass through, ana undergo something uko kwenye familia yake. Lakini sasa tunapokuja sehemu kama hii, this is the only platform or a forum that we are given to speak out our mind. We are sharing our stories. So when you learn from someone else, you take that story. It doesn't mean that you are going to imitate, do the same lakini unakuwa umejifunza kitu na wewe inakusaidia kukuongezea kitu cha kufanya kwamba okay, kama she made it, I can make it too. Kwa hiyo ni kuwa na ile courage ya kuendelea move forward na kuhakikisha kwamba tunapata zile results ambazo tunazihitaji.
Oscar, can I just say one thing? I promise 1 minute, because this is such an important point.
Sure.
I was having a conversation in the tea break with Esther. Actually, Esther's my boss. Hi, Esther. Stand up. She is taking over at Empower. And we were talking about this day, and we're talking about the takeover, and congratulations to Plan, because I find we've been partners with you on this for the last, I think, 4 or 5 years, having girls come to Empower to take over, and it works. And the reason it works is we get to share stories, we get to learn from one another, and we build our confidence. And the conversation Esther and I were having was, I said, do you guys have somewhere, a group where you guys are going to stay in touch, this group, this year's alumni? She was like, yeah, we have a group. I said, it needs to continue, because this is a platform now. You've started something. So remember your collective power, and if you're going to share your power, you have to take it as well. So what are you guys going to do after today together, rather than we all go back to our lives and disappear? You have to become a group. And I said to Esther, you need to be the chair. You need to keep it moving. You need to demand that online call with the minister. It comes from you, from us. So that collective energy is very important. Let's not forget it. And when you look at programs out there in schools where you have clubs, your voice is so much louder when you're together. Even Anna mentioned she's talking about her friends facing different issues. If we're all doing it alone, it won't change. So that togetherness is critical. And don't forget the boys. They should also be in the conversation as well.
Asante Makofi. Thank you so much, Ella. That was very useful. Thank you for bringing it up. Now it's time for you, listeners, participants. You're not just listeners, you also have to play part in this. And because at the end, all of us gonna sign there, you also have to speak something and commit to do something. So Secretariat and the organizers, please help me pass the mic. Everyone who wants to contribute, we limit ourselves into 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. So that many of us can also contribute and speak. It's very useful, and we love it. If you have a question, you can direct it to the panelists, but if you have a contribution, you also say that. Karibu sana, you can stand and introduce yourself and spend 2 minutes to contribute.
Okay, thank you so much, moderator, but also I would like to take this opportunity also to thank you, those panelists. It is a touching story, but no, we have to do. Okay, my name is Godfrey Exemba. I work with World Vision Tanzania. Thank you. So I'm very interested on the issue of engagement of the private sector, especially in for them to engage in a social contribution. So as the presenter or the representative from private sector said that the private sector is, do not do much on the social contribution. The private sector in Tanzania, really, it is not doing much to contribute to social issues. So my question, or just my highlight on this point, that now, how now can we bring different private sector stakeholders now for them to engage in social responsibility issues, including on interventions to empower girls and other marginalized group like those those people with disabilities. So, and I would like now to make this as a way forward that we can take in this discussion, because this is a key. Now we need to engage different stakeholders, including those private sectors. So it is our duty now to map who are the key private sectors, so we can now start engaging them, so for them to give back to the community, because to my side, they are not maybe doing much, especially in contributing to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Geoffrey. Asante, this side? Akuna, okay. This side? I'm only seeing men. Okay, it's good.
Thanks. My name is Pascal Ayub Sylvester Majura. I am Director General of Building Inclusive Society Tanzania Organization. Organization is dealing with educating the community on how to live and grant rights of persons with disability. I'm actually a low vision, even myself. I am actually very touched with the story of Anna. But for me, I only hear just the idealistic solutions of the problem. Keep educating, until when? So the first thing I would like to say is that we need to use the school areas to educate the students, especially girls, on how, to report to those cases, for example, of Anna, to the schools, and the teachers of the school will engage other people, including the social workers from the respective areas, and the police officers and so on, so that those who are misusing the rights of the girls, especially to get education, will be held accountable. That is the first thing. Second thing is, as a community, not only leaving this for Plan International, but as a community, we need to create methods of how we can help the girls facing some challenges like this. For example, if a girl has not even 1,000 to have food at school, how will she survive at school? She will run away, okay? So we need to do something, and not leaving this maybe to still calling for the government. The politics has its own games. So we need to help them to make sure that they reach where they want to reach. But something I want to remind you is Anna has expressed her story. But there are some girls with disability, and those, they have no area to speak out their issues. We need to remember them once we are looking, or once we are talking, and once we are speaking. And in disability, for example, in our area, we also have those who have multiple disabilities. We call them double challenges. You meet someone who is a vision impairment, and sometimes on the same time, she or he is a deaf, so we call them deaf blind. How can they present their issues to the community so that they can be helped? And you meet that many of them are not getting, for example, education and other rights, because they have nowhere to speak of these issues. They can't even reach here at Kilimanjaro. They can't even have an access to meet with a plan and whatever and whatever. So we NGOs, under the leadership of a plan, I think we have to organize some program today that we are going to those areas in the rural areas, and we are going to send a message. And what is coming on, if we receive some issues, we are reporting maybe those issues to the government, and what we can do, we will do, so that we can start and show the way to the community of how things are solved, or how these problems can be solved.
Sure.
Because only discussing here does not bring things on right track, but taking things seriously and to implement what we are speaking. So Plan International, Mr. Sato, if you can, maybe your team can organize, who are here today,
Yeah.
They can organize, and then you can say, yes, we have a 2 months program. Go and send the message, especially in the rural areas, and once you receive a case, the likes of Anna, then what we do, we engage a school in a particular area, we engage maybe the government, so that these problems can be tackled. Some people, they are not supposed to be only given education, but sometimes to be held accountable, because it is their responsibility to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pascal. Yes. Another speaker, please. Yes, I've seen the girl there, and then I'll come back to you. Yeah. 2 minutes, please.
I just to get to them. It's very hard to get to girls if parents don't start teaching our girls about their rights, not only, but things like sexual education and such. then it's very hard to then teach their children as well. And secondly, how are we going to get the government to enforce the rights of girls? Because a few rights that I know are, we have the right to education, we have the right to shelter and such. So how are we going to do that? Because the government enforce this and we can go a lot smoother. Your story touched me, and it was really sad to hear that it's going on in Tanzania, where we're supposed to be a lot more, rather we put out that we're very advanced. So what are we going to do to change? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Esther. So we have a speaker there, and then we'll hear from there, and then we'll get a round of responses and one more. Yeah, so 3, and then we hear the responses, and then we conclude. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Beatrice Kamgisha. I'm working with Femina. And for sure, Anna, you're a rock star. Thank you for sharing. And your scenario is not unique. Like from the Femina side, then we are working in this school space. We come across all those scenarios most of the time. And for us, we have called them like dual whatever you're doing on economic empowerment and sexual reproductive, we call it double dose. Like we ensure the girls get education in sexual reproductive health, but again we do the economic empowerment. So at whatever you're doing, you express that you are struggling on like you are struggling to find resources to go to school, buying sanitary pads, but we acknowledge that what you are doing is wonderful, because as you are building your muscles, you are working hard towards education, but you are empowering yourself to get some skills on how to endure and become better for future. So don't feel sorry for yourself that I might not get into university, not at all. And actually what you believe is what comes into a way. So change your perception that I'll get there, and you'll get there, because I see everything is shining in you and you'll get there. And this is a representation of other girls. What we project to ourselves comes to us. Rather than thinking that we can't do or there's no opportunity for us, believe me, there are so many stakeholders are there. They want to support they want to support community, and it's just a matter of us working together. Like what you are saying, like how Femina encourage youth. We encourage them as they're in school to study, but they read their environments, what they can do within their environment, at least to contribute for the basic needs. We know at the rural community, poverty is there. And how we can address it has to combine our effort. With the little you have, you can make changes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beatrice. Yes, that was very encouraging. Yes, we go there, and then we finalize with the girls takeover, the takeover girl there. So we start with Mzee Hapa. Yes. 2 minutes.
Even less. Thank you so much, Asante Sana. This is Philippos from Plan International Ethiopia. Can you see me? I don't know. It is very difficult to some of the participants. This is just not a question. It is a kind of comment. Thank you so much, panelists. And then I was a bit impressed, with Anna. We have been with Anna for the last 3 days, and then I must lamenting and weeping because, in Africa we are just very much tied with patriarchal society, and having such fearless and then confident young girl is a great opportunity. I'm taking a lot to Ethiopia as well, in some parts of Ethiopia where, plan is not there, over 90% of, FGM is very much practiced. And then I learned a lot, and then thank you so much again. The most important point I also consider as takeaway to Ethiopia is that the engagement of private sector. We are a bit weak on that, and thank you for bringing this issue. I want to congratulate. But if you also tell us what are the major challenges that you are facing in engaging in such kind of things. You have also mentioned that we need to balance as well. When you just to bring the issue of gender equality,
we should not also forget, about the takeover at the home as well. It should start from home. That I was sending to my wife. Actually, she's my boss as well. My daughter should be the decision maker. Starting from tomorrow, this is a lesson that I wanted to take to home as well. We did. I'm leading the SARES sector, and with some more than 8 projects under my portfolio. But a very big challenge we are facing is that engaging parents is critical. Engaging parents. We conducted social norm analysis with a project which is being done in some 6 countries, and what the adolescent girls told us that we need to work very well with traditional leaders, parents, and the religious leaders. What is your final advice on this? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Asante. I hope you'll go back with some few Swahili phrases. Asante and Jambo, yeah.
Okay, my name is Christina Kahensa. I have a suggestion to all the organizations, embassies, feminists, everyone in here. While providing education to girls on how to empower them and save them from all the hardship they are facing, I suggest that we should include boys, not giving them education on them, about girls. For instance, Anna said that she's being bullied. Her friends are being bullied. Who bullies them? The boys. And they have no education on what the girls are going through. So I suggest that we should work on that.
Thank you so much. That was very powerful, Christina. You also have a comment?
Yes. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jacqueline Mtamia. I was also a girl takeover last year. I took over at the European delegation of the European Union, and I just have one question, especially to the mass media. As we all know, the mass media are only to the trending and the recent highlights. They really don't talk about things that happen to our society daily. For example, FGM, okay? So even girls matters. They only care about what happens recently and what is trending. That's what they do. So I wanted to ask, what is the involvement or the contribution of the mass media, not only mass media, also the social medias, to girls' matters, to girls' issues that face them daily? Thank you.
Aye. We have media people here. They're just taking photos. You have your questions. So after the panel, I think, Ella, you can also talk about it. But I think also, Rhoda, you can talk about the digital media. Equality. I know you've heard some of the questions. You can just decide to choose which one to respond, but I think also, as we are contributing also some of the things that have been asked, you've also touched on them. So maybe we should start with Ella, and then we will come to Rhoda, and then I will give a round of response to each one of you. Karibu.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, everyone, for the questions. I've been trying to keep up and take notes on areas where maybe I can contribute. I'll start with Femina. So nice to see Femina in the room. I serve as a board member on the Femina HIP board, and they do fantastic work, and I know you partner with Plan as well. We partner with Plan, and I really would like to bring to light the methodologies that Femina use. It's really about grassroots activism and the clubs, the FEMA clubs in the schools. I believe there's around 3,000 clubs across the country that are led by students in school. Boys and girls are part of those clubs. So the conversations they're having with the support of Femina and other partners is really their conversation. And I think that's very important in creating support systems in schools. I hope your school has a FEMA club. If not, talk to Beatrice. And really empowering the voices of young girls and boys. So that's very good to hear. And I think when we talk of that 27%, which we're trying to strategize, how do we reduce that number of, the lack of support that's being felt? It's really about empowering voices and doing that collectively. One voice is not as loud as 10, is not as loud as 100, just like a choir. So how do we create those connections between clubs, and how do we bring our ideas together? So yeah, the alumni of the Takeover family is very important. I reiterate that point. And I think to the question about how do we have more inclusion of people that maybe are not in the room or can't contribute to the conversation, maybe they're blind and deaf, how can we create spaces that are very targeted for those voices to be heard as well? I think that's a very good point, a very important thing that we need to plan. I'll speak to the private sector question. I think I can be the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger, though. The message is not always easy, but I'm going to be very blunt and honest. Private sector's primary goal is to make profit. It is all about the bottom line, and that's just the way it is, and that is the key difference between the private sector and the development space and the public sector. And that's a healthy tension in some ways, because we both bring different things to the table, but one needs the other. And I think, back to the question that was asked by the gentleman, how do we bring on board the private sector? We have to understand that that is their goal, profit. So how do we help them to maximize their profit while still dealing with social issues and seeing the value in doing so? And I know that doesn't always make sense on paper, because we should all care out of the goodness of our hearts beyond the bottom line, beyond the profit. But if you know that that's their goal, how do you help them to achieve their goal? Because supporting such social issues is also can be profit generating for them. It can be a double benefit. So how do you speak their language? And their language, now to get specific, is, okay, what's in it for me? This is the truth. I'm so sorry, it's the truth. The private sector, what do I receive as a result of giving funding to your program? So what visibility are you giving me? What access are you giving me to potential customers that could join my telco or my bank? And perhaps that's fair enough. Yeah? So we might not agree with it, but that's actually the only way, is to say, what's in it for you? How can you give something but also receive something? And that something is bottom line. That something is customers. So without obviously putting anyone in a situation, any young people in an unsafe situation, you have to be careful what partners you bring on board so that they are not becoming customers of the wrong kind of entity. But if it's something legal and something positive that can actually empower them, actually the banks and the telcos can really help to create communities, digital money systems that can actually drive economic empowerment. So actually you can talk in that way and say, how can we use your products and services to actually benefit the programs that we are running? So I would see it that way. Sometimes their contribution doesn't have to be financial, it can be services. I can speak on behalf of Generation Empower. We've approached a telco and said, can you sponsor us? The answer was no, we don't have any budget. But then we said, but you have data bundles. Can you give us data bundles so that the students can learn online? They said yes. And they gave us the value of many million shillings of data bundles and whitelisted platforms to say, actually, when students on your program access this website, they won't be deducted any data, so they can actually access it without internet. So that's already a means for getting private sector support, and they can be named as partners as a result of that. And for them, it's a win-win situation. They're giving something they already had. So it doesn't have to be a money transaction. That's very important, I think. Use their services and use their systems that are existing, and help them to piece together the connection of why it's important. And this is impact stories. How are you telling the senior decision makers who are human beings and have children and have hearts and do care, why it's important to help. And I think I would have liked to see in this room more senior CEOs and decision makers from the private sector. I know they're busy and time is money, but even if they could have one segment, an hour, where you can just present to them or find a platform to say, why is it so important that you support us? What do we need from you? Sometimes they even need to know, what is it that you're asking for? Because truthfully, they don't have time to figure it out. So they're saying, tell us what you need and we'll tell you what we can give, but don't forget to tell us what we get as a result. So I would say, position the storytelling in that way. What will they receive? So that was what I wanted to contribute. But my last point, because I know it's the last time I get to speak, I promise I'll be 30 seconds, is just, I know we've talked about also, Esther, your question was very good around how do we educate and bring on board the parents and the older generation. And I know there are efforts already out there to do so, but the truth of the matter is, in some cases it's too late. Truthfully, we're talking about generational differences and social behavioral change. So my message would be, without discrediting, work that's ongoing, focus forward. When I look at you, Anna, when I look at you, Rhoda, when I look at all of you young ladies, I'm saying, when you become a mother, when you become a parent, when you become a line manager, when you become an entrepreneur or a leader in your own right or in your community, what are you going to do better or differently? What are you learning from your journey? Focus forward, because we can't always change how our parents have raised us. I also can't, but I can change the way I raise my daughter. So I feel, let's be positive in our mindset of what can we do, because the power is actually in your hands. You're here to stay. So what are you going to do differently or better? Don't be discouraged by what happened. Focus on what you want to do differently, and know that people will be inspired by you. Your kids will be inspired by you. There are young girls looking up to you today already. So yeah, don't forget your power. Be the change.
Share your power.
Share your power and take your power as well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Ella, and thank you for your final remarks. I think, Chaz, you can go next, and then Salome.
Yeah,
and
just two brief points.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Responding to the private sector, I want to just give a practical example of what Plan did. Is we approached 17 hotels in Kenya, and when I say hotels, I mean, all the big hotels, Serena, Radisson Blue, and the rest. And we told them that we want to have a 1-year program with you. And we wrote an open invitation to young people. We told them, apply if you want to be placed in one of these hotels. We got 205 applications. We shortlisted to 25. Then we came with the 17 hotels, and the first thing they did is they trained the 25 young people. And just to also respond to his question, we had, I think, 4 people with disabilities, some visual, some hearing impairments and all that. So they were placed in hotels in different departments, room service, front office and all that. Then I think after a couple of months, we did like a review and all that. So just back to your question, you really need to be creative on how you're engaging private sector. So in this scenario, our 25 young people got placements, and actually after the 25, 4 have been employed fully. And the private sector is getting a workforce that is empowered. So I think you really need to see how you're engaging the private sector and not just going with a ball saying, help me, idea. So I think that's one comment. Second comment goes to, I think it's Esther. How are we approaching governments? I think from the time I spoke here, I've mentioned 5 research pieces. I've mentioned free to be online. There's something, education investment study and all that. So we really need to approach government with evidence. And that's the role of all of us, preparing evidence in the form of research and telling them, when they say, because the government can easily argue all the girls are in school. But when we see Anna here talking about how she's struggling for fees, they start seeing evidence that it's true, not all girls are in school. So I think that's what we do, having such forums. Whenever you hear there's a forum in your school and there's space to speak in a Parents' Day, please, you girl, take over girls. You're supposed to be on the front line saying, I want to say something. That's where we start. My final comment is I'm kindly requesting all of us to close our eyes. Please, let's close our eyes for just a second. Don't worry, your phones won't be stolen. I have CCTV. Close your eyes. After you close your eyes, I want you to say, everything is shining in you. But don't say you, say me. Okay, can we repeat? Everything is shining in me. Okay, now say it louder because you're telling yourself. Okay, you're not telling Charles. 1, 2, 3, go.
Everything is shining in me.
That's a comment. No, you can open your eyes. Anna, that's one thing I want you to go home with. Everything is shining in me. This comment has come from Beatrice. Beatrice, please stand up. When she was giving you feedback, that's what she said. So those are not my words, they are her words. She told you. But that word is applicable to all of us. Everything is shining in me. That means you have something special in yourself. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Charles. Salome, 1 minute, and then Rhoda, and then we'll conclude with Anna.
Okay, asante sana. Kitu ambacho nilikuwa nataka kuzungumza Ella pale amekisema, how are we going to engage the parents? Sisi Proud Wives tayari tumesha kuwa kwenye implementation ya hiyo. As I said earlier, we are equipping married women with marital knowledge, and one of the things that we are teaching them is parenting. Kwa hiyo tumegundua tu kwamba asilimia kubwa ya watu ambao wanaingia kwenye ndoa wanaenda na fantasies zile za kuolewa tu wako kwenye relationship, but they don't understand about what parenting is. Hiyo ni kwa wote, wale ambao wamekuwa educated to that levels of universities, hata ambao hawako kwenye levels. Yani sisi tuko kwenye mahusiano just to be happy with our, unajua, lakini kwenye swala zima la kulea watoto it is a problem. Kwa hiyo maybe a call to Plan International, if you can expand nanili yenu, service yenu, kwenda kwenye grassroots. Apart from engaging the girls only, tunaweza kwenda kwenye community in collaboration with WIDE's executive officers, tukaitisha zile conferences za parents, alafu tukawa tuna community volunteers ambao wanakuwa wanatoa elimu sasa ya malezi kwenye jamii. It's still working, and that is what Restless Development was doing. We have volunteers, so sometimes we need peer-to-peer education. Very important. And my last comment will go to mass media. Hello, we are consumers. We are subscribers of whatever that we think that these medias are less important. Kwa sababu kama hatuwapei hiyo attention, they won't be advertising or broadcasting those kind of content. So, to the one who mentioned that, we have said, be the change, share your power. And here we are told by Mr. Charles that everything starting shining?
In me.
Yeah. Everything is shining in me. So you are the change. Na badiliko ni la mtu mmoja siku zote kwenye jamii. Nini unafanya wewe kwenye kushare content yako kwenye mass media sasa hivi? The advantage ambayo tuko nao sasa hivi ni hii kuwa na citizen journalist. Kwa hiyo tuna YouTube, una access ya kuwa na YouTube channel, una access ya kuwa na chochote bila kujali number of audience. Share your content. Kama ninyi hapo sasa hivi mpo kwenye hii platform, you can have your own content ambayo ina address girls issues, and uone kama hutapata hiyo audience. Ni kidogo kidogo watu wanaelewa. Asante.
Asante Salome. Yes, that was very powerful. Thank you so much. And yes, Rhoda, in 1 minute, please. Switch on. Use that one which is on. Okay. Oh, sure.
I wanted to talk about the private sector question. A week ago, I got an opportunity by Unleashing Africa, an organization that deals with the same issues. They're organizing or hosting an app. They're creating an app called Rise Up. It's an app that it's for girls like me, so they can get their opportunities like scholarships and stuff like that. So I asked one of the managers of Unleashing Africa about why they're advocating for things like these. They're advocating for FGM, child marriages, but the numbers are still rising up. What's the problem? Akaniambia kitu ambacho ni it was really awakening. Akaniambia kwamba wao wenyewe wamewauliza hawa wasichana the same question kwamba what is the problem, kwa sababu we come tunawafundisha and stuff like that. One of the girls akawaambia kwamba nakuja na watu wenu na wataalamu wenu mnatufundisha haya mambo sijui sexual reproductive health, family planning. The problem is mnadhani mnajua kuliko sisi. You think you know better than us. Kwa hiyo sisi tunawaacha muongee mmalize, tuna clap, kama kuna snacks tutakula, tunaendelea na mambo yetu. So you don't listen, you're there to just present. Kwa hiyo naomba hizi private sectors ziwe zinatoa iwe ni a two-way drive, kwamba unaongea na hawa watu, unaongea nao, you let them highlight it, kwa sababu it's not about what you have to share, it's about what they have to share. The problem is theirs, not yours. Wewe unakuja kuwa mtatuzi, sio wewe unakuja una present, ukishamaliza unauliza maswali mawili matatu unaondoka. Yani ni lazima mkae muongee. Unaongea sio unaongea kama msaidizi, unaongea kama mama, unaongea kama mwanamke. Yeah, vitu kama hivyo. Alafu kuhusu social media, madam hapa nitakuongeza the same issue kwamba organizations sasa hivi Instagram, mimi ni mtumiaji mkubwa sana wa Instagram. Organizations nyingi kama Msichana Initiative, Plan International, Sawa Tanzania, Thai Tanzania, they use hizi platforms kuongelea hizi issues. It's their content. So you choose. Niende kwa Millard Ayo, niende kwa Plan, niende kwa Mange Kimambi. Yeah, you choose where to go. You choose where you want to subscribe. Kwa hiyo tukiendelea kuwalilia hawa social media, wengine hata hawasikii by the way. Yeah. Kwa hiyo it starts with us. Be the change. It starts with us. What are you willing to subscribe at?
Sure. Anna?
Thank you. As for me, my last word is that in private sectors and organizations, I would like to request that you support girls, especially village girls, and not only that, but also the organization like Plan International, please. I would like to request, if it is possible, take a lot of time educating parents. Parents are the most problem in our villages. I've done research and I found out that if parents are given education about how to live with girls, how to live with children, how to support children, this problem would be minimal. Also, at our schools, I would like to request, if it is possible, the private sectors, please help our government schools. Our government schools. I study in a government schools, and we were the one who started it. It was started in 2021. You can't imagine right now we are Form 3. There is no laboratories at our schools, classes, and also teachers are not enough at our schools. Next year we will have Form 1s, and the classrooms are not enough. So I wonder where we would study, where we would stay. And also the teachers, in the coming year, we are going to be in Form 4. So I wonder, even right now, we haven't finished some of the topics, like basic chemistry, due to lack of teachers. So I would request, if it is possible, you can help us, especially in villages. The villages schools are facing many challenges. Lastly, I would like to ask if it is possible, there are some of the... Okay, thank you.
You can say it in Swahili. Say it in Swahili, it's fine. Anna, malizia point yako. Yeah?
Yeah, I wanted to say that the advice that my sister gave me, it is good, and I'm glad for that, because it has really encouraged me. And right now I'm thinking of continuing after Form 4. I want to go and study hard.
Okay, makofi tafadhali kwa Anna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, tuwapigie makofi wazungumzaji wote. For sure you've done a good job, and it was really hard and touching, but we appreciate your time. You want to say something else?
I have a request for Plan for the next takeover. I feel like, and maybe it's in your plans, can we have takeover of government positions as well? Maybe a girl with the minister would be really exciting.
And of course tumeambiwa na waziri kwamba mwakani hata waziri mkuu hata president. So I think also there's something that is happening in Dodoma, but again we will have to see more of those in these kind of platforms. Kurugenzi, you want to say something?
Thank you. You have been our partners of choice, because I think we have started this journey for the past 6 years, and I think we have been with Empower for 5 years. So thank you, and your recommendation is taken. Thank you very much. But just to provide some more clarity, this is just happening here, but the takeover is happening all over the country, where Plan International is operating. And the feed level, actually, this program has been taken over by the government highly, and some of the girls are taking over positions of the district executive directors, those big positions at the district and the regional level. But I agree with you. I think for advocacy purposes and for making this more visible, I think at higher level. And I think you have heard also from the minister, from the honorable minister. She has made a promise that I think next year maybe president, all those kinds of high level. So we hope for that. Yeah, sorry MC, I just wanted to, actually today is not my day, but my country director has allowed me just 1 minute to appreciate and thank you, the panel members. You have done a very good job. Actually, this was a hard talk. This was really a hard talk. And I just wanted also to appreciate your story, Anna. Very heartbreaking. You know, when you were narrating that story, I saw silence within the room. Very heartbreaking, but I think it has generated a lot of discussion from the panel members, but also from the mass here. We have taken everything, and I think that is the purpose of Plan International and other organizations of similar nature to exist, because we are here as the Plan International to advance children's rights and also promote the equality for girls. And as you can see, everything you have narrated, it actually embedded in gender inequality, and that is what Plan International we are actually doing. And we are just calling, I want to borrow some words from Charles. We need to work in partnership. First, to partner with the girls, to partner with private sector, partner with donors and supporters like USAID, to partner with embassies, to partner with everybody to make sure that we fight the root cause of gender inequality. Because gender inequality is all which has brought us all here. These are the issues, is the real stories out there. We have today heard just one story, but this is actually the story of thousands of girls out there. And we need to make a commitment. We need to share our power. We need to make those changes. Thank you very much.
Asante sana. Yeah. A round of applause for the panelists, please. As you stand, yes, as you stand, we would like to have a photo, one photo here. It's a commitment that you've made. I think in your conversations you've really talked about the commitments and everything. So having this photo is a remembrance of you doing your job into. I have to be part of this photo as well. Yeah, the fact that you also did a good job and you're smiling, so you're welcome. And I think after this we're going to having one session, and this is We're going to hear from the USAID representative, and therefore for at least 10 minutes. And then after that, we'll do the commitment signing, and we'll be closing our day. So I request for your 20 minutes, and then we'll be done with this agenda. Thank you so much. Asanteni sana, makofi ya ziada kwa. Okay, thank you. Salome, asante. Thank you so much. Aya, makofi ya ziada kwao tafadhali. Now we are going to the almost last part of our agenda, where we will hear for 10 minutes from Naima. There's a very thin line between Naomi and Naima. So initially I introduced her as Naomi, but she is Naima Bahati. Naima Bahati from USAID. Karibu sana, and you can share your thing for 10 minutes. Karibu sana. Makofi tafadhali kwake as she comes here. She's a friend of mine, and we've worked closely together. So for me to slip my tongue was a really big mistake. Karibu.
Yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, I worked with Oscar for like 2 years, so it was a big shock when he introduced me as Naomi, and I was like, what? Oh, that's 2 years of working together, and you're still mistaking my name. But yeah, so it's good to be here, and my name is Naima Bahati. I'm the Gender and Youth Specialist from USAID. We know our guest of honor is not here, but I would like to recognize her presence because she honored us with her presence here, and she was with us for like almost an hour, which was really nice of her, and we enjoyed her presence and her speech, right? So Honorable Minister of Community Development, Gender, Women and Special Groups, Dr. Dorothy Gwajima, Ms. Hilda Kibonde, Plan International Country Director for today, representative from embassies, NGOs, and CSOs, Plan International representatives, members of the media, girls and youth activists for the takeover today. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Na wasalimu kwa jina la Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Okay, so thank you very much for this opportunity to join you this morning. And actually, I wouldn't even need 10 minutes because I'm basically one thing standing between you and lunch, right? So I wouldn't like to take most of your time. I'm so happy to get this opportunity to join you this morning and afternoon today, celebrating the 6th annual commemoration of International Day of the Girl Child and the Plan International Girl Takeover Campaign. USAID is so proud to partner with Plan International and to be part of such an impressive group of girls advocacy as we work together to raise the voices of young women. I bring you greetings from the U.S. Ambassador in Tanzania, Dr. Michael Battle, and our USAID Mission Director, Craig Hart. So a lot of greetings from them to you. I'm so honored to be here with such professional and committed individuals, men and women, who have Tanzanian women and young girls. The United States firmly believe that women and youth are key for the progress and development of any nation. Evidence from around the world has shown that when societies, economies, and political systems values and safeguards their rights to participation, countries are safer, are more secure, and very prosperous. This is why we are so proud to work with Tanzania, the government, and plan takeover campaign, and to raise our voices to contribute to this impressive progress toward gender equality and equity. For improving access to justice for the vulnerable women and children, to strengthening the projections and responses to gender-based violence in Tanzania. Tanzania, we are currently leading the way, or we are showing a lot of progress in that. So thanks to every partner who has contributed to that effort. We have seen a lot of benefit when we empower young women and girls, right? We have seen examples from few girls who have been taking over this event today, and they are doing massive of progress in taking over other organizations and other embassies outside here, right? So the girls are increasing taking chances on civic and political leadership and different roles that are driving economic growth and that are driving political and civic movements. In the United States, and other countries around the world, this journey is not an easy journey, and a lot remains to be done. And it is the effort to all of us, and it is the call to all of us to work together and put our efforts together to make these things continue and these things done. But it is a correct and a just path to take, so one step at a time, right? So collaborations like the collaboration we are seeing today with partner like Plan International and others who have contributed like USAID in the Girls Takeover campaign reflect the best of what we can do to accomplish when we work together toward achieving this goal of empowering girls. Ningependa pia kuzungumza Kiswahili. Kuendeleza maendeleo haya na mafanikio haya, ni muhimu kwamba wanawake na wasichana waendelee kupata nafasi mbalimbali katika meza za maamuzi, decision making, right? Sio tu kuwahusisha kwamba tunafanya consultation, they need to be part of that decision making, na kwamba tuendelee kuunga mkono uongozi wao na ushiriki wao wa kiraia. Ujumuishi sio tu swala la maadili na haki, ila ni sharti la kimkakati ambalo hutusaidia kujenga jamii ya sasa na mataifa yajayo yenye uwezo mkubwa, ubunifu na mafanikio. Mwaka jana sisi kama USAID tulishiriki katika hili zoezi la Girls Takeover, na tulikuwa na mkurugenzi mkazi, yani mission director mpya, ambaye alikuwa anaitwa Michelle David. She was actually 14 years old, ambaye yuko nadhani anamalizia primary school mwaka huu. Kwa hiyo tulikuwa naye kama USAID na alichukua nafasi ya mkurugenzi mkazi kwa siku hiyo. Michelle alishiriki katika channel mbalimbali za mitandao ya kijamii za USAID na alipata fursa za kusimulia hadithi mbalimbali za kusisimua ambazo zilionyesha jinsi gani wanawake katika nafasi mbalimbali za uongozi wanaweza kusaidia kuleta mafanikio na kufikia malengo yetu ya pamoja na kuongeza uwekezaji katika haki za wasichana na wanawake. Na kwa mwaka huu pia kama USAID tunafurahi kuwa wenyeji wa Girl Takeover Power mwingine ambaye anaitwa Gifta Anderson. Yay! So tutakuwa na Gifta Anderson tarehe 2 Novemba ya mwaka huu, and I'm so excited to have her. Ni Gifta Anderson anasomea kuwa clinical officer. She's 19 years old, na akiwa kama bingwa wa watu ambao wana ulemavu. Gifta anaweza kuongea sign language, right? Yes, na anaweza kuzungumza na viziwi au watu wenye matatizo ya kusikia. Na tukiangalia vitu ambavyo anavifanya Gifta vina reflect tunasema USAID goals au mihimili ambayo inatujenga sisi kama USAID. Kwa hiyo tunafuraha sana kushiriki katika Girl Takeover mwaka huu pia, na we are so happy to have her kwa kweli. Kwa hiyo tunashukuru kwa kutupa gift mwaka huu. Na USAID tukiangalia kitu ambacho anatuletea gift mwaka huu, tuna miradi mbalimbali ambayo inasaidia vijana na inasaidia pia mabinti wenye ulemavu, na tumeunda afua mbalimbali ambazo zinatekelezwa kwa njia iliyojumuishwa na inayowashughulikia walemavu na mahitaji yao. Kwa hiyo kupitia miradi yetu, kwa mfano wanafunzi wa madarasa ya chini ambao ni wa kiume na wa kike kwa pamoja wanapata nafasi ya kupatiwa zana mbalimbali za kujifunzia. Kwa mfano wale ambao ni vipofu tunaona wanapewa zile vifaa vya kusoma kwa vifaa nundu wanaita kwa kusoma, lakini vifaa vya kusikia pia. Kwa hiyo wanapata nafasi za kupata hivyo vifaa na vinawasaidia katika safari yao ya kujifunza. Na kwa vijana ambao wapo nje ya shule, USAID inajitahidi kuandaa mazingira na kuunda mazingira rafiki kwa ajili ya vijana wenye ulemavu ili waweze kushiriki katika afua mbalimbali, ikiwa kama wenyewe binafsi au katika makundi yao. Uwekezaji huu ni nguzo muhimu sana ya utetezi mpana wa rasilimali za USAID zinazolenga kujenga haki za wasichana. Na kama mfadhili mkubwa nchini Tanzania, Marekani imeweza kuchangia zaidi ya dola bilioni 7 katika misaada kwa Tanzania katika au niseme ndani ya miaka 20 iliyopita ili kuimarisha usalama, kukuza uchumi, kupanua ushiriki wa kidemokrasia, kuboresha afya, elimu na lishe ya Watanzania. Kwa kumalizia, let me just say this. When women and young people have equal access to resources like land, finances, and education, they can fully unleash their potentials as entrepreneurs, as innovators, as leaders, and as people who they aspire to be. Additionally, access to information ensures informed decision-making and meaningful participation in society matters. Again, on behalf of the U.S. Embassy in Tanzania, thank you all for having me, and thank you all for supporting this initiative, and thank you all for being here. Be the change.
Share your power.
Asanteni sana.
Makofi ya nguvu kwa Naima. Yeah, asante. Thank you, Naima. That was very powerful and useful. We appreciate USAID actually for always being with girls and for always being with us. Asante sana. Sasa, we are almost there. Just two things. One is I'm going to invite 2 takeover girls to come here and share their testimonials, their experiences as when they were taking over some positions. They will spend maximum 5 minutes, and thereafter I will have to invite everyone who is here, maybe in groups, to go and do the signing of the commitment board. We have to populate that and keep it as a record for 2023 takeover commitments. So, allow me to bring on in the podium the boss, Karen Bati. Karibu tukusikie. Makofi kwa Karen tafadhali. Wakati huo, Justina, please get prepared. Karibu sana. You want to use podium or just a mic?
Hello. Hi. I can sense silence. People are tired.
Are we tired?
Okay, my name's Karen Francis Mbati, a student of Arthi University. And yesterday I did my takeover at Norway Embassy, where I met Her Excellency Tony Tizi there at Norway Embassy. It was, at first I was nervous, like, what am I going to do there? How am I going to interact? But to be lucky enough, they were really interactive. They made me feel so comfortable there. Like, everyone was like, hey, we're so happy to see you here today. So during the takeover, they got to explain the programs that they're doing through economic issues, gender issues, cultural activities that they're doing, but also the importance of influencing young ladies, young female like us, who are taking over to wish to be at higher rank position, that you're supposed to be confident enough in whatever you're doing, but also stand for yourself and believe in God. Everything is possible if you believe in God. So my experience, it was nice. After that, we went to Kostage. There was a launching ceremony of climate research programs between Norway and Kostage. So I get to talk about the speech, the importance of climate change, where I presented issues of food security, the importance of us having food security in our country, but also I presented issues on how we can avoid climate action by being the voices, being the changes in advocating for climate action or climate issues in our country. Thank you.
Asante Karen, and maybe you can just hand over the mic to Justina. If you spend exactly the same time, like, yeah.
Good afternoon. Okay, I am Justina Ruta, and I managed to take over at the British High Commission. That was on Monday. So I was like, what am I going to do, or what am I going to say that would affect them, or that would put me in a position to say that I am really taking over? It's actually the opportunity that they gave me. I started out my day at 8 a.m. I arrived and wakanipokea wale walinzi wakaniambia, aha, umekuja kutake over. Okay. Haya. Nikaingia. Kwanza nikasalimiana na yule balozi anaitwa David Konka. I was like, I am meeting you. And I said, yes, you are meeting me. And you know, I am nervous because this takeover program is like, yani ndo tumeanzisha tu kama miaka mitatu hivi. So I'm really happy and proud to have you here. And I entered their staff meetings. I got to see how they work. I managed to enter into the African Union conference about female genital mutilation. And I got to be beside Kemi, who happened to be a development manager. And she wanted me to stand beside her and know how it felt to read out a speech in front of 1 billion of people and have people expect something from you. So I felt like, wow, so this is how it feels like to hold power, people looking at you, and you have to have an effect. So I was very thankful for the opportunity, and I encourage you to go out there and tell other girls, you have children, you have friends, go tell them to come and take over, even next year. Thank you.
Wow. Hongera sana Karen na Justina kwa uzoefu. Lakini I'm telling you, kila moja, everyone who has taken over has a different experience. The only thing that they're taking out of this is more courage, more power, and more confidence. They will never be the same. This is what I promise you. I know them. They will never be the same. So it's a very great initiative, and I would like to invite everyone to be part of this. And of course, many other organizations to partner with Plan International and whatever, the way you want to do it, but again, it's a great thing to do. It's a great cause for these ladies, and we are here to celebrate the power, and we have to be proud of what we've been doing. Asanteni sana. So after that, I just want to reiterate, for those who didn't hear me when I was introducing myself, I am Oscar Kimaro. I know I'm live on YouTube. So Oscar Kimaro, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just see the work that I do, and I'll appreciate your like and follow. Thank you so much. Basi, ni wakaribishe, just to take the commitments, and after doing the commitment thing, we will be inviting Cecilia Bosco from Plan International to give the closing remarks. So maybe, just for the sake of protocols, Hilda, you're taking over the CD position today, so you should be leading us to going to that commitment board. And the only thing that we want from you, we already have some words there. So the only thing that we want from you is your initials, or maybe a bit of a signature if you like. So saying, whatever has happened today, I commit into taking this forward and making sure more girls have power, and of course, if the opportunities arise, then invest on girls' activism. Okay? Sawa sawa? Are we all ready? Okay, so we start with the high table. Hilda, you lead us. And then make sure you use as small space as possible because we are many. Very few exceptions will allow for a bigger initial or signature, but again, I would really wish you not to spoil what the minister has written there. And then USAID colleagues, you can also join. And we'll be calling some other members of the floor to join the signing. And make sure you position yourself so that we are able to see to get the photos, the pictures taken. All the host organizations for takeover, please stand up. If you are a representative from the takeover host organization, you can also join. Yeah. Karibu. It should be a quick exercise. Yeah. Thank you. Hii ina maana kubwa sana kwamba tumezungumza lakini hayapaswi kuishia hapa kwa sababu tunafahamu umuhimu wa signatures zetu na maana zilizonazo katika maisha yetu ya kawaida. So tunaweka dhamiri ya kwamba tutaendelea kuhakikisha wasichana wote wanapata stahiki zao muhimu. Staff wa Plan International na nyinyi hamjaachwa. Yeah, and Plan AU, Plan Regional Office, are you here? And Plan International staff? Yes, that is nice. It is always good. Sante from Maristops, thank you. Thank you. And the CSOs and international organizations who are here, we can also join. CSOs, international organizations, panelists, and the CSOs, please. Yes, yeah. Yes. All the organizations, the leaders of the different organizations here, please come. It is sometimes good to sign for using the name of your organization because then we know, yeah. So, Femina, I'm not seeing you here. You're trying to run away. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Charles, do you want to live with the board? Waandishi wa habari, we've heard about media and everything. You guys people are saying you're working on trending news and everything, but we want to make sure also you're committing into doing something. Okay? Yes. As girls activists, you also have a role. Takeover girls in Lopita, the former takeover girls, you come and do your commitment to continue empowering your colleagues as well. Yeah? Takeover girls will be the last, but that does not mean we have actually left you behind, no? I see some other groups. I've seen some people who have not moved, so I don't know where are they belonging. What is that category? I don't know. Make sure you limit your signature into a very small space, much as possible. You can do it above close to the logo as well, it's fine. Good. You're allowed to clap if the music is good enough. And in a short while, we're going to dance the song all together.
Mama alipata shida, kichefuchefu kutapika, mama na hakunichoka, mama leo napata heshima na heshimika sababu ya mama. Mungu akulaze pema na sitoacha kukuombea mama.
Kila mmoja amekuja. Cecilia, tafadhali. Tunawashukuru sana Clouds. Tunawashukuru sana Clouds kwa kuwa nasi na kushiriki nasi kama host organization, lakini pia ambao umetusaidia kurusha tukio hili tangu tulipoanza mpaka sasa ambapo tunaelekea mwishoni. Clouds FM, Clouds TV, Clouds Media Group, tuwapigie makofi tafadhali, wamefanya kazi nzuri. It's a record that we're gonna see. And Clouds FM, Clouds TV, tunawashukuru. Kwenye YouTube channel ya Clouds Media Group, ukienda pale utaona tukio hili tangia mwanzo mpaka mwisho. Tunawashukuru sana kwa kuwa nasi, na kwa kweli mmeonyesha kwa vitendo namna ambavyo sauti za wasichana zinaweza kusikika katika maeneo mbalimbali, na sisi kwa niaba ya Plan International ambao ni washirika wenu tunawashukuru sana sana sana, tukitambua mchango wa kila mmoja aliofanya kwa siku hii. Tafadhali Cecilia, namba uje kwa sababu tunamaliza. Jipigieni makofi kwa kumaliza zoezi vizuri na kuhakikisha kila kitu kimekwenda sawa sawa. Yes. Basi nikupe dakika chache alafu tukaribishe pia kwa ajili ya chakula. Asanteni sana na washukuru kwa ushirikiano wenu, na Mwenyezi Mungu awabariki sana. Kwa sababu sitarudi hapa jamani, na washukuru sana.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, thank you very much, MC as I like to call him. He is also an MC, although he works for the development. I'm sorry I'm doing the advertisement, but you did a great job, and I think you deserve this as a reward. I hope you accept it. Thank you. Mabibi na mabwana, naomba nitumie fursa hii kuwashukuru sana 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 kwa kuwa pamoja nasi mchana huu. Na niseme tu kwamba program hii ya Girls Takeover ni endelevu, na kwa mwaka huu leo ni kilele. Kama mlivyomsikia Mheshimiwa Waziri kwamba alikuwa anahitimisha rasmi, japokuwa kuna baadhi ya takeover hazija happen, na sitakuwa very formal. I'll try to make sure that I speak about all the important information and not trying to be very formal. So one of the things that I want to talk about as I'm closing this special occasion is to express Plan International's heartfelt appreciation to all of you, each one of us who is here with us today, for the honor to host you. We are very much delighted, and we are happy to continue this conversation. And I would also like to mention specifically our partners and supporters, especially for their long-standing partnership and commitment toward advancing girls and, of course, children's rights in Tanzania. So I'll start with the USAID. And please allow me to say that we truly appreciate the support. You made this convening possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, please let's give them a round of applause for their commitment. Yes, thank you very much to the entire USAID mission for this support. And we're looking forward to continuing our lots of commitment that we've made here today as we continue to uplift girls' rights in Tanzania. Please allow me also to mention the unwavering support that we have been receiving from Empower. As you've heard, we have been working with Empower for the last 4 years, and this is incredible. Thank you very much. Yeah, and apart from Empower, also from the private sector, we have CRDB Bank. We pitched the idea to CRDB, and they were really happy to know about the initiative. I know they have a number of women-centered initiatives as a bank, and of course with the CRDB Foundation, they're also doing an incredible job. They are on board right now, and we are looking forward to having them on board also next year and to continue the work that we're doing to empower girls in Tanzania. Apart from CRDB, please allow me to mention the embassies that have been supporting Plan International for the past 6 years. This is incredible. So we have the Norwegian embassy, the Royal Norwegian Embassy, and we also have the Swedish Embassy. We also have the Irish Embassy. We have the British High Commission. We also have the EU. Of course, this year they're not part of the takeover, but they have been supporting us for the last few years. We also have CCBRT. You all saw Brenda here in the morning. She's one amongst our biggest supporters, and she is committed to empowering a girl child in this country. And for that, even though she's not here, please, ladies and gentlemen, allow me just to congratulate Brenda for the great work that she's doing. Yes, please allow also me to mention a youth-led organization that they've come on board for this year for the first time, TAI Tanzania. It's a youth-led organization, and they're doing incredible work to empower girls in many holistic approaches. So thank you to TAI Tanzania, but also I would like to give a special thanks to Clouds Media Group. They've been incredible in supporting us. If you're a fan or you listen to media, at least traditional media, but also social media, I'm sure you might have come across sort of, campaigns. This campaign, the Girls Take Over campaign, we are running a series of audio jingles that are mainly centered to tackle the negative narrative about a girl child. So we are trying to address the communities on the issue of empowering girls by giving them opportunities to lead. So Clouds have been really incredible, supporting us with all the airtime, with all the presenter mention, with all the digital engagement. We really appreciate, as we know, your business, but giving this kind of dedication to make sure that the communities are able to hear the voices of young girls. It's incredible. And also, just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, we are also live, and this is also facilitated by Clouds Media Group. And please, can we all give a round of applause for Clouds Media Group? Thank you very much. Please allow me also to mention the unwavering support from BBC Media Action. They've also been incredible to supporting the girls' initiatives in Tanzania, and we've been working with them for the last 3 years. This is also incredible. I would also like to mention Plan International. And not just to mention, but even though we are owning the initiative, but also it depends with the leadership. Please allow me to congratulate our leader, Mr. Paul Usato, for being a man feminist who supports the girls' empowerment and the cause to empower young girls in this country. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Paul. Thank you very much. So maybe just to add on that, as we all know, we've heard about, I think a young lady asked about boys' involvement. So we're talking about also men involvement, having men who support our initiative to empower girls and women in this country is so incredible. To have a boss such as Paul who supports such kind of initiative is really incredible. And with leaders like him, I'm sure we should be able to achieve the great milestone that we're looking for. Apart from that, we also have Maria Stops, our partner. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause to Maria Stops. I know that we are having you this year for the first time, but I'm sure this is going to be a continued partnership, and please welcome to the space. I know it feels good, right? Yes, it does. Oscar is nodding, so I'm sure it does, and I'm sure we'll also have you on board next year and more years to come. I would also like to mention the unwavering support we've been receiving from Jordan, from the UN Women. She is an incredible woman. She's been supporting and mentoring girls since we started this initiative. Please, tumpigie makofi jamani. Last but not least, please allow me to mention also that through this initiative, we also work with government, especially government ministries. I know there was a point that was raised here, like if there's a possibility to have ministers' position also taken over. I know we've been trying, and the level that we're able to reach is the permanent secretary, because you know the ministers are like very busy, and most of the time they take over. You know, they look like staged, and we opted for the permanent secretaries because at least they have the time to sit with the girl and mentor them. So we are trying, and we are hoping one day we should be able to also get the president, you know, do this, and we are sure that we will reach there. And last but not least, we are also joined here with a number of representatives from different networks that also are doing incredible work in this country to empower girls, but also to fight for their rights. We have the Tanzania Ending Child Marriage Network representative. Please, wherever you are, could you please wave? Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, and your time here is really appreciated. We also have the Tanahat. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. We have the network to counter anti-trafficking network, human trafficking network, anti-human trafficking network, some Tanzania anti-trafficking human network, represented also here. Thank you very much for coming. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to speak to my girls. These are my girls. You've been with them throughout the orientation, mentoring them, but also interviewing them, and all that. So I feel like I'm too close to them, and I'm so happy for the milestone that you have achieved. And for those of you who have not yet taken over, I'm sure you're going to have an incredible takeover, and I wish you all the very best. Yeah, and to wind up, after your takeovers, you all know that we have Youth for Change, an organization that all Girls Takeover alumni are allowed to join and continue this cause, right? So please get in touch with Jessica. She will support you on that. And to wind up, I would like to congratulate my team for the great work they've done. Davis, wherever you are, please. Yes, and we have Jessica. Jessica, yes, thank you, Jessica. And we have Jumanne, please. So it's a team of 4 people working toward all this, coordinating the 20 takeovers that we have for Tanzania. Most of the international countries normally host only 4, but for us, we're doing 20, and people are like, you guys, how are we doing it? And we're just the 4 of us. So thank you very much, my team. I truly appreciate your dedication, and I'm looking forward to celebrating today after this event. So ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana. Lunch is served. Welcome and enjoy your lunch.